this season we've brought you our Women in Racing series, and this week we'd like to introduce you to Susan Archer.
Of course, Susan is an integral part of the team at Arrowfield Stud. She's one of our favourites, but she also has her own remarkable journey in the racing industry. Take a look at this.
My name's Susan Archer and I'm the Communications Manager at Arrowfield Stud. I've been at Arrowfield for 12 years. I am living my dream. This is a job that, for me, is just the peak of my career. I might have been a journalist, I might have been a teacher, but what got me was the racing bug very early. I grew up in a small town of Gore in Southland at the bottom of New Zealand. My parents were very much involved in sport, my father in rugby, my mother in basketball, but they really shared a great interest in horse racing. So horse racing was part of what we did as a family. By the time I was 13, I was writing a tipping column in the local newspaper, and that was really the beginning. The key thing was meeting my husband, Michael Martin, and he was living and working on a small property near Cambridge called Fencourt Farm, adjusting broodmares and preparing yearlings for sale in the Waikato, and we met in Hamilton actually, and I don't know, we had a fantastic connection and a great shared interest in the industry, and that really started me on the path to where I am now. I got a lot of opportunities to do media, broadcasting, writing work while I was raising our two children. Came back to New Zealand as a couple to work together for the New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeders Association. Michael is the chief executive and me as the media manager. We had a fabulous 10 years together, and I feel so proud of being able to work for the New Zealand thoroughbred industry, and particularly the people who work and invest in it and achieve such extraordinary success. In 2002, I interviewed John Massara, and it was an interview we both enjoyed enormously, and he never forgot it, I never forgot it, and 8 years later he offered me a job at Arrowfields.
She's 5 in front, Sunline, and a piece of racing history, back-to-back Cox plates for the champion mare Sunline. She's won it by 6 lengths easily.
It's so wonderful meeting young people who say to me, oh, Sunline was the horse that turned me on to racing. And she's so celebrated in Australia, and I just feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude and pride in her. You know, 20 years after she retired, I look back at her and I look back at what we did. We had a mortgage and 2 children and no money. We had 2 broodmares and we bred this extraordinary horse. She was a granddaughter of a mare that my parents had bought at Trentham in 1981. So there was a bit of a family connection as well. I think she gave us so much and gave the industry so much. And I'm always going to be happy to have my name attached to Sunline. Thoroughbred horses are truly extraordinary animal, a biomechanical miracle. The author of Seabiscuit described the thoroughbred as God's rocket, and I think that sums it up perfectly. An absolutely extraordinary animal. But I think looking back at my childhood and what grabbed me about racing, more than anything was the colour, the characters, the stories and the competition. And what I love most now is being part of an amazing team at Arrowfield, working in a brilliant industry in Australia, a world-leading industry. In the 21st century, it's pretty amazing that horses are still doing that, still changing people's lives and still giving us so much joy and excitement and fun. And it's wonderful to be a small part of telling that story to the world. Lucky I work with all these incredible young people, so many wonderful young people in the industry, and I think a large part of my role now is supporting them to be the best that they can be and build Arrowfield and build the industry so that it will be flying in 20, 30, 50 years' time, and I love being a part of that.